conditions. The highlights, the Mexican vegetables. I love this plant. Okay, Frank and I have big arguments. He loves it too, but he's afraid he can't sell it. I'm afraid that we haven't done enough so we can possibly sell it. But this is called Popolo. And in fact, Frank, you turned us on to this. It's a delicious tasting plant. It's so spicy. Some people say it tastes like onion, so I write here. I don't taste the onion. I taste the fruit, the sour, the spiciness all together, burst full of flavor. I also tend to taste what I'm hoping is not oxalic acid in my mouth too. Okay, so some of these things have flavors and aromas, you know, the components are good. And we also have to recognize that some, as Ramu pointed out, there might be some anti-nutritional factors that are not great. You know, like that eating the wrong part of the rhubarb, eating too much popolo if it's very rich in oxalic acid isn't good. So in our lab, we're now setting up the protocols for oxalic acid, as we have set up in our lab for the alkaloid, for the different types of nightshade and selenums. Yellow purslane looks really nice. Our growers in New Jersey are finding that they can grow purslane, but they can't sell purslane once the purslane in the wild next to the fields gets so high, because the Mexican seasonal labor will just get it from the wild and not want to pay for anything. But that's assuming you're selling it to that one market. If you're not selling it to the seasonal agricultural workers, but selling it to a store, there's a tremendous opportunity to harvest it and to bring it to those stores. To sell it in the Mexican bodegas in southern New Jersey, for example, they will get the wild collected material from people that are selling it in stores, so it's difficult to compete with that. Okay, the growth was excellent on this. Was harvested two ways. One with and without the roots. There's a yellow type, a red type. This one produces much higher yields and consistent than the red purslane. The farm workers, everybody we talk to, at least in New Jersey, from Mexico, they consume the same wheat purslane as we're trying to grow. So they thought it was really cute. We're trying to grow it when they just go out in the field and pick it. Okay, but again, that's not the market we're aiming for. But we are aiming for a market that is familiar with it. So here's a picture of the red purslane. Again, it's a portulaca. It's very rich in vitamins, good nutrient content, but also it gets some diseases, and it potentially gets some alternaria. So you have to be vigilant for insects and diseases. Some of those were noted by our collaborators in Florida and Massachusetts, even more than we did. There's a picture of the yellow purslane, a particular variety, Goldberg. It's interesting when you're trying to look at the empty plots. This is from the lines we grew, but they died. And yet next to the plots, we have it growing as a weed. Okay, there's another variety called Gruner. So clearly there's a lot of work on red purslane. And there's some new interesting work on some of the unusual chemicals within purslane itself. And yet when you look at it close up, this is not what you want to sell, by the way, right? I hope you don't want to sell this. Okay. But it's highly susceptible to flea beetles. So when you grow these crops, again, you have to monitor them for insects, diseases,